Vienna, the capital of Austria, is also known as the City of Music and the City of Dreams. Whatever name you choose for your memories of this city at the edge of the Alps, they will likely be accented by spectacular architecture steeped in history and gilded statues. In the last days of November, Beverly and I became two of the more than 3 million tourists that wander this city along the Danube River each year. Vienna is an enchanting city, adorned with museums, palaces, and music halls, international organizations, schools, and spies. It's a city of intrigue, ingenuity, and intellect, sporting at least 24 world-renowned universities and international schools. Standing in the courtyard of the Hofburg Palace as the sunrise begins to light the landscape, a spectacular view is revealed of the Viennese grandeur. First on the list of things to do on the Saturday we arrived was to try and obtain tickets for an event at the famous Spanish riding school. When we walked up to the ticket counter, we found out all the seats, which could cost more than $140 each, were taken. It was standing room only, and there were perhaps 500 people or more crammed into the balconies overlooking the arena. When the horses came out, we were closely watched to prevent us from taking photos, so I could only sneak off one shot. The rest I had to borrow later from the internet. It's called the Spanish Riding School because of the breed of horses they've used during the school's 450 years of training horsemanship. These incredible Lipizzan stallions and riders are taught, just as the students and animals were in medieval times, how to work together on the battlefields. A well-trained horse can appear an imposing threat and can be quite the performer in the ring. These were far from the only horses we would see in Vienna. Horse-drawn carriages appeared everywhere we went. Mozart, Haydn, Beethoven, Schubert, Brahms, and a throng of other famous musical composers hailed from Vienna and came here to work. And the city has not forgotten them. It's a cultural mecca of museums, opera houses, and theaters. An estimated 450 balls are held in Vienna each year. Many of the city's middle and upper-class citizens will attend as many as 10 events. There's also no shortage of cathedrals in the city, with about 40% of the 2 million people claiming the Catholic religion. The most famous of them being St. Stephen's Cathedral, with its Romanesque style and Gothic spires and gargoyles, Karlskirche, with its Baroque architecture, and the Votive Church with its twin-tower neo-Gothic design. The extravagant decor on the interior of these churches mesmerizes visitors. Not far from the churches are palaces, extravagant and, well, palatial. Most are surrounded by huge gardens and wooded areas, and most are also art museums and report about 8 million visitors each year. Schönbrunn Palace was built by the local Roman emperor in the 1500s. He had the grounds fenced off and imported pheasants, ducks, deer, and boar so he could hunt them. The Belvedere contains 2 Baroque palaces and the grounds landscaped with tiered fountains and extravagant shrubbery. The facility was built around 300 years ago to be the summer residence of Prince Eugene of Savoy. The Austrian Parliament building is a sight to behold. The building took 11 years to complete after construction began in 1874. Despite the strong Christian influences in the city, designers wanted the style to be classical Greek because of the ancient Greeks' connections to democracy. In front of the building stands a huge statue of Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom. The city was built on the Danube River, a waterway that has inspired music, paintings, books, and movies. It's transported people and goods since ancient Roman times. The river remains a huge resource for Vienna and Eastern Europe. It was cool seeing them build a new bridge across the water that flowed through a basin about a quarter-mile wide as it passed through the city, headed to the Black Sea. The holiday season was obviously in full swing in Vienna. In Austria, the Christmas markets are called Advent markets, and one of Vienna's largest was right in front of City Hall. The festival was as elaborate as those we had already seen in Germany, featuring local cuisine, including monster-sized pretzels and the ever-popular Glühwein. On the front steps of the Rathaus, a display of various nativity scenes greeted visitors, while inside the building, people visited the restaurant and activities set up to entertain the children, such as baking goods and painting Christmas decorations. The city, on land first settled by the Celts more than 2,000 years ago, is proud of its history and just as proud of its position in the modern world. They overcame invaders and barbarians, and even losing a complete identity when the Nazis took over Austria in 1938. The nation would not regain full sovereignty until 1955, when the Soviets finally left. Today, the city hosts a multitude of international organizations, such as the International Atomic Energy Agency, OPEC, and several agencies of the United Nations. Vienna. It's a proud city, looking forward.